Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the
This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
All right, I will admit right off the bat, maybe he could have waited a day. Maybe President Trump could have come out yesterday in the White House press briefing room, offered his condolences, held a moment of silence, which he did, which was nice, given an update, a brief update, said they are still looking at the situation, hoping for the best. We're not sure what went wrong here. Maybe he could have played it safe. But at the same time, that's not his style. That's not the way Donald Trump does things. So when he went there, when he started talking about DEI and the insane hiring procedures of the Biden administration and the Obama administration, I said, okay, he knows something. He knows what's going on here. It was perhaps, some people say, inappropriate to do it at that moment when they were still pulling bodies out of the river. They have still not recovered all the bodies, 47 dead souls from the crash 2 nights ago. An incredible tragedy, just an unbelievable situation. You look at the video and you still can't quite make sense of it. Why? Why did the Black Hawk helicopter just fly directly into the airplane? Why? What were they thinking? What were they seeing? It was most likely pilot error. It was most likely a mistake by the pilot who was told, who was asked, do you see the plane? And my guess is the pilot saw a different plane, did not see the American Airlines jet that the pilots, plural, who flew the Black Hawk into the plane. There it is. New footage, by the way. Just absolutely chilling to look at. Just flew directly into the plane. And there's the crash into the river. So they're working on a recovery operation still. The weather's not good in D.C., but they're doing their best. Hopefully they will recover all the bodies today, and the families will have some closure. But Trump came out yesterday, and again, he started off okay. He started off speaking in general terms about the accident and talking about the recovery and offering a moment of silence and offering condolences. But then Trump discussed the people who have been hired, who've been recruited to the FAA to become air traffic controllers by Biden, by Obama. And then it struck me, this, maybe if he waited a day, you'd say, okay, or 2 days, maybe he should have. But then when he finally started explaining what has gone on, it is mind-blowing. It is scandalous. It is almost impossible to believe what a president, the last president, Joe Biden, and the one before Trump's first term, Barack Obama, did to this federal agency and did to most federal agencies. Again, you listen to this and you can't believe it. They have a directive from the Biden administration, which Trump referred to, and I immediately got online and said, this can't be real. It is another one of those moments when you're looking at the direction of the country of the last 4 years and you're saying, that really happened? It's one thing, once again, you want to do DEI, you want to do affirmative action. It's one thing when you're talking about, I don't know, the Commerce Department or the faculty at Harvard or Columbia. We are talking about the FAA. We are talking about air traffic controllers who have the lives of millions of people in their hands, who are making life and death decisions, obviously. Was it the fault of the air traffic controllers? We don't know. Probably not. But put that aside and listen to what the Biden administration did, listen to what they prioritized. They recruited to the FAA. They made an affirmative decision to recruit people with severe intellectual disabilities. They made an affirmative decision to recruit blind people, deaf people, people who paraplegics to the air traffic to become air traffic controllers, and they rejected people based on race. Now we do know whether the air traffic controller on duty on Wednesday night was doing his job, doing it right, doing his best, is beside the point. They were undermanned. We're talking about the bloat in the federal government, all these agencies that have too many people that are going to be taking buyouts and leaving and trying to downsize the federal government. That's not the case. The FAA, Trump 1.0, spent the same amount of money on the FAA as Biden. It wasn't downsized because of budgetary reason. It was downsized because they would not hire white people. At first I said that can't be. The air traffic controls, that is not possible, but it is. There was a class action suit during the Obama administration from almost 1,000 applicants to the FAA, people who qualified, some of whom got a 100 on the test, who went through the training and wouldn't get hired because they're white. Here is the lawyer for the group of applicants who were denied a job, who were not hired based on race to become air traffic controllers, who were qualified, who were trained, who were smart, who were capable of doing the job, but didn't get the job based on skin color. That was the policy of our federal government, of our president, of our administration not long ago. Again, is this why this accident happened? As Trump said, I don't know. He said it might have been, and he's right. It might have been a factor. According to the New York Times, before we get to this lawyer, according to the New York Times, there were only 19 air traffic controllers on duty when there should have been 30. There was only one air traffic controller to handle both the Black Hawk helicopter and the American Airlines jet. There should have been two. According to NBC News, there was no supervisor on duty. The air traffic controller boss let the supervisor leave early. So this is New York Times and NBC saying they weren't fully staffed on the night of the accident. Why was that? Was it just someone called in sick? Or was it because they wouldn't hire enough agents because of the color of their skin? We're asking. We're wondering. We need to know. Again, was it the time or place to bring this up? Maybe, maybe not. Doesn't matter at this point. Trump went there, and now we should all go there. We should all wonder, what is the cost of this kind of insanity in our federal government, of DEI? That's what it is. You deny white people the job or Asian people the job, and you make a concerted effort to hire people with severe intellectual disabilities to become air traffic controllers. That's what happened. That's undeniable. It took Trump to bring that to everyone's attention, and now the media is losing their minds. He's making baseless claims that DEI is responsible for this. That's not what he said. He said it could have been, it might have been, and he said that changes now, that they will be hiring the best people. Who could be against that? Again, Trump does something based solely, entirely on common sense. How are we not hiring the best people? And you can hate his style, his timing, but you cannot argue with that. What we have lived through for the last 4 years and the 8 years with Obama is absolute insanity. Listen to the guy, the lawyer, who was suing on behalf of all the white people who didn't get jobs at the FAA. Go ahead.
Representing Mountain States Legal Foundation as part of a class action on behalf of 900 plus would-be air traffic controllers. And so we brought this suit based on the FAA's change in its hiring practices. So it used to be that they would score a pre-employment test and it would be based on merit. And all of our clients passed with flying colors. Many of them passed with 100% on this test. And the FAA decided that the pool of air traffic controller applicants was too white. And so they flushed that initial test and they adopted a biographical assessment, which you can already hear is an ominous term for a air traffic controller test. And unfortunately, our clients didn't pass that. And we allege that the FAA changed the test in order to gerrymander the racial.
So they scrapped the test that was based on merit. They no longer hired air traffic controllers based on merit, and they made it. And they reached out. Can you get that release from the Biden administration that includes just it's one thing to say, you know, we want more diversity, we want more people of color, we want more women or whatever, but you're air traffic controllers, and you want people with, quote, severe intellectual disabilities. You want people with paralysis. You want people with dwarfism. Actually, that's not the worst. That's not the problem. And you want people who are visually impaired and hearing impaired. You prioritize that. That was the last administration. That's what they did. That's what Trump said yesterday. There it is, right there in black and white. Severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric disabilities, to become complete paralysis, epilepsy. They were recruiting people with missing extremities. Somebody in the federal government, somebody in the Biden administration said, let's do this. Here's an idea. Let's find people with missing extremities, find people with disabilities to control our air traffic. That was your last administration. That the media today I've watched, they're fixated on Trump saying this is all DEI, blaming it on DEI baselessly. They won't tell you that. You won't hear that from Jake Tapper today or David Muir. They won't mention that the Biden administration did that. That said, we don't want white people, healthy people with all their extremities, people who aren't, we want people with intellectual disabilities. It's almost, I mean, you really have to hear it to believe it. So let's hear it. We got the receipts. We got the sound. This is Biden's head of the FAA, I believe. Is that his title? Can you get his title from me?
Yeah, his name's Brad Mims.
Brad Mims explaining the priorities. Once again, not of the the EPA or the Commerce. That's bad. This is so much worse. This is what the president prioritized in hiring, in recruiting for the Federal Aviation Administration. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Brad Mims, Deputy Administrator at the Federal Aviation Administration. We are looking for the best and brightest to join us as air traffic controllers. We need a diverse group of air traffic controllers to bring distinct perspectives to handle the ever-changing aerospace landscape. I'm calling on students and alumni from HBCUs, Hispanic serving institutions, and tribal colleges to apply now to become air traffic controllers. I don't want anyone interested to miss out on this amazing career opportunity.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Complete your full application during our application window. The short application window ends on May 8th. We need a diverse next generation air traffic workforce with people from all backgrounds. So apply now.
Oh my God. There are a lot of reasons to celebrate Donald Trump's return. This could be top of the list. And again, it doesn't matter in some places, some departments, some agencies, but man, it matters here, even if they're just understaffed, because even if every single diverse agent or a hire is talented and brilliant and capable and able, they don't have enough. They don't have enough air traffic controllers because they've eliminated a large portion of applicants said, you're not welcome here. We used to think that was anti-American. We used to think that was immoral. And for 4 years and for 8 years under Obama, we celebrated it. It gets worse. It gets worse. I don't know if everyone's seen this yet, but you must see the Biden nominee to lead the FAA, the man who would be in charge of the department with about, I think, 50,000 employees. He went before the Senate, of course, for confirmation hearings. And obviously, there are some requirements for the job of leading the FAA. You would think you'd have some basic understanding of flight, of airplanes, of air traffic. This is the scariest part, he was the head of the Denver International Airport when he was nominated by Joe Biden. And watch this and just try to, I don't know, speculate, take a guess why Biden chose Philip Washington to lead the FAA. This is Senator Ted Budd asking him questions, trying to get a basic understanding of what he knows about the job, about aviation. Listen to this.
So, Mr. Washington, can you quickly tell me what airspace requires an ADS-B transponder?
Not sure I can answer that question right now.
That's okay. We'll just keep going. So that's a pretty important part. So what are the 6 types of special use airspace that protect this national security that appear on FAA charts?
Sorry, Senator, I cannot answer that question.
Okay. So what are the operational limitations of a pilot flying under basic med?
Senator, I'm not a pilot, so.
But obviously you'd oversee the Federal Aviation Administration. So any idea what those restrictions are under basic med, quickly?
Well, some of the restrictions I think would be high blood pressure. Some of them would be.
It's more like how many passengers per airplane, how many pounds in different categories, and what altitude you can fly under. So, and then amount of knots, it's under 250 knots. So It's not having anything to do with blood pressure. So can you tell me what causes an aircraft to spin or to stall?
Again, Senator, I'm not a pilot.
Okay, let's keep going.
Okay.
3 aircraft certifications the FAA requires as part of the manufacturing process. Quickly, please. 3 aircraft certifications.
Again, what I would say to that is that one of my first priorities would be to fully implement that Certification Act and report.
You know the
back to
3
this
types,
committee.
Mr. Washington? The 3
No.
types? Okay. Yeah, that's type certificate, production certificate, and airworthiness certificate. Okay. All right. Let's just keep going, see if we can get lucky here. So can you tell me what the minimum separation distance is for landing and departing airliners during the daytime, Mr. Washington?
I don't want to guess on that, Senator.
Are you familiar with the difference between Part 107 and Part 44809 when it comes to unmanned aerial standards? Unmanned like drones? Are you familiar with the difference?
Yes.
Okay, you know the difference between those two, Part 44809 and Part 107? Do you know the difference there?
No, I cannot.
That's all right.
Stop the fight. Stop the fight. Just keep in mind, the people who supported Philip Washington to head the FAA want you to think RFK and Pete Hegseth and Kash Patel are unqualified for the job. That was Biden's choice to head the FAA. He withdrew his nomination after he was totally exposed. Yes, I think Ted Budd, he was kind of reeling when Ted Budd was done, and then Ted Cruz went in for the kill. Here is Cruz again with Joe Biden's nominee to head the Federal Aviation Administration. Watch this.
You ever flown a plane?
Thank you for the question, Senator. No, I have never flown a plane.
So you weren't a military pilot or a commercial airline pilot?
No, Senator.
Have you ever worked for an airline?
No, Senator.
Have you ever worked as an air traffic controller?
No, Senator.
Have you ever worked for a company that manufactures airplanes?
No, Senator.
Have you ever worked for a company that fixes airplanes?
No, Senator.
FAA administrator is a specialized position. I'm not qualified to be FAA administrator. I have no idea how to fly a plane. No one in their right mind would put me in charge of aviation safety because I don't have that experience. I suspect most of the members of this committee are in a similar position. The American people, when they think about aviation safety, when they think about, I played in this committee, a Southwest Airlines and FedEx plane almost colliding at Austin's airport. They want an FAA administrator who knows why those planes crash and knows how to fix it to keep them safe. And with all respect, Mr. Washington, it gives no comfort to the flying public that their pilot might be a transgendered witch who doesn't actually know how to prevent the plane from crashing into the ground and killing them. I believe your record is woefully lacking. And in fact, you have zero aviation safety experience.
Gee, why do you think Joe Biden chose a man with zero aviation experience to head the FAA? God, it's again, I know it's hard to believe. It really is hard to get your mind around the fact that these were the decisions being made by the commander-in-chief for 4 years and for 8 years under Obama. This is what they prioritized. This for a job that is so important, that requires the best of the best. As Trump said, we need talent, we need brains, we need experience, we need the best people for the job. Thank God we brought an end to that on November 5th. Thank God. I mean, we lost 47 people on Wednesday night. But and maybe it has nothing to do with DEI, but maybe it does, as Trump said. Let's play Trump before we move on. Here's Trump, and you could just feel the media start to seethe as he brings this up. And they spent the whole day talking about how baseless and inappropriate and irresponsible it was for Trump to bring this up. Well, again, maybe it was too soon. But what if he waited a day or 3 or 5 or a week? Would this be the topic of discussion? Would we look at this problem and say, holy crap, we got an issue here. We have to change the way we think, not just the way we hire, the way we think. These are critical jobs. They shouldn't go to people based on their race or their immutable characteristics, their sexuality, their sex. That is just so insane. Here's Trump yesterday.
We must have only the highest standards for those who work in our aviation system. I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. You remember that. Only the highest aptitude, they have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people were allowed to qualify for air traffic controllers. That was not so prior to getting there. When I arrived in 2016, I made a change very early on because I always felt this was a job that, and other jobs too, but this was a job that had to be superior intelligence. And we didn't really have that, and we had it. And then when I left office and Biden took over, he changed them back to lower than ever before. I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first. And they put politics at a level that nobody's ever seen, because this was the lowest level. Their policy was horrible, and their politics was even worse. So as you know, last week, long before the crash, I signed an executive order restoring our highest standards for air traffic controllers and other important jobs throughout the country. So it was very interesting. About a week ago, almost upon entering office, I signed something last week that was an executive order, very powerful, on restoring the highest standards of air traffic controllers and others, by the way. Then my administration will set the highest possible bar for aviation safety. We have to have our smartest people. It doesn't matter what they look like, how they speak, who they are. It matters intellect, talent, the word talent. They have to be talented, naturally talented geniuses. You can't have regular people doing that job. They won't be able to do it. But we'll restore faith in American air travel.
You know, he's done some great things in these first 11 days. Or this could be the biggest, the best, the most important, to restore talent, restore merit, make it the American way again, to end this madness that we've lived through. Forget the discrimination against people based on race. How about the danger we put people in? The risk we take when we prioritize these irrelevant things, skin color and sexuality. I mean, the last guy, and Trump went off on Buttigieg, the last guy was a failed small city mayor who was chosen to run this department based strictly on his sexuality. We did that. How about the guy who preceded RFK Jr, essentially the assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services, a middle-aged, an obese middle-aged man who dresses as a woman. That's why he picked him. That's the only reason he chose Rachel Levine. This has to end. This just has to end. And I don't know if it's a factor. Trump doesn't know. He said it. He doesn't know. He just wonders. Everybody wonders. You want to do your DEI thing? Don't do it here. Don't do it now. Don't make it a priority for air traffic control. Just crazy. But all right, we got so much more to get to. The Trump nominees were on full display yesterday on Capitol Hill. RFK Jr. was back before another Senate committee, back before Crazy Bernie, and Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard were up there too. And I think all three of them, I watched most of this, and all three of them absolutely killed it. All three of them are a threat. That's why they're coming so hard at them. They are a threat. They are going to expose the corruption, the rot in the system. And I just hope and pray they get confirmed, because what's going to happen once they get confirmed is going to be wild. We'll get to some of the highlights and some of the fireworks. But first,
Excuse me.
ring in the new year with new rewards at Golden Nugget Online Casino. Right now, new players can play just $5 and get 250 casino spins on a featured game with promo code Newsmax. That's 250 chances to win on us after you play just $5 or more. Don't wait. The best rewards and the brightest moments are waiting at Golden Nugget Online Casino. Whether you're spinning slots, doubling down on blackjack, playing roulette, or any of our exclusive games you can't find anywhere else, make any moment golden with Golden Nugget Online Casino this year.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please play responsibly. 21 and over. Physically present in Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins valid for Jinshi, Baoshi, Endless Treasures only and expire in 168 hours. See terms at goldennuggetcasino.com/promos. Ends at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on February 23rd, 2025.
As you watch these hearings, you can almost feel the nervousness, the tension in the room, because the Democrats, the deep state, the establishment is deathly afraid of what's going to come out if these nominees get confirmed. It's in every case, and it's not just DEI. It's the corruption within these agencies, and nobody is prepared to expose more corruption than RFK Jr. We saw it. We lived through it during COVID. We know just how rotten these agencies are. We know just how corrupt Dr. Fauci was. Fauci's sitting somewhere without his taxpayer-funded limo driver and his $20,000 a day security anymore. He's got to pay for that himself now. But he is so afraid of what RFK will expose. Just a quick, I had to look this up because I thought it's hard to believe. The FDA, the budget for the FDA, 50% of it is footed by drug companies. They pay the agents in the Federal Drug Administration. They pay the doctors, the scientists. They pay them, the drug companies. They are getting rich off this completely inappropriate arrangement. That's going to be exposed if RFK gets confirmed. But he went before the Senate again yesterday, second day, a different committee, but some of the same characters. And he finally went there. This was the highlight. If you haven't been paying attention, if you've been busy working this and you want to watch one clip, hear one moment from these hearings, this is it. RFK had a good day on Wednesday. He did battle, but I think he held back a little bit. And then he slept on it. He went to his hotel and he slept on it. He thought about it. He was getting grilled by people who are absolute shills for drug companies, for pharmaceuticals, for the Pfizer and Moderna, for vaccine manufacturers. We played that yesterday. Liz Warren was just going to the mat in defense of drug companies, trying to get RFK to vow he won't ever sue drug companies or vax manufacturers. It was a bizarre moment. It was a really revealing moment because Liz Warren, that champion for the little guy, that consumer advocate, she took her time, there are 5 minutes, to defend drug companies and attack RFK, who has spent his life suing drug companies, suing corporations. And now she's flipped and she's become their biggest defender. But Bernie's right there with her. Nobody in the Senate takes more money from big pharma, from pharmaceutical companies. And RFK knew that Wednesday, but he kind of held back. Yesterday, he let it go, man. He went right to the face of this cranky commie. He put him in his place, and it was beautiful. Watch this.
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? That's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh,
and protecting their interests.
Oh, I thought that would come. No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
Because I had
receiver of
small
pharmaceutical money.
contributions from workers all over this country. Workers,
You were the
it's
single-
not a nickel from corporate
Bernie,
PACs.
you were the single largest acceptor of
workers-
pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in the industry.
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right, but
Oh, yeah. What? 1.5 million from pharmaceuticals. You lying fraud. This was gorgeous. God, I loved this moment. And he looked at the other senators too. You're all on the take, and they are. And you saw it. They couldn't help themselves. They do not want this man in a position of power where it can expose them and their lucrative arrangements they have with big pharma. He has to be confirmed. I know it's up to one guy, Bill Cassidy, a rhino and a doctor. He has his apprehension. He has his concerns. But I'm pretty sure behind the scenes, they are working hard to get Cassidy on board and get him to 50 votes and get him confirmed. And then the fun begins. It was another, you know why RFK is so good? He's not, there's no pretense. He just speaks from the heart. He's not looking at his notes. He's just telling you how screwed up our healthcare system is, how unhealthy our children are, how obese Americans are. And he wants to change that. And he puts the Democrats in a position of defending that, of defending the status quo. And it's just incredible to watch. They're sitting there and if RFK were a Democrat nominee, if a Democrat president nominated him for this position, every one of these frauds, Liz Warren and Bernie Sanders, they'd all, Ron Widener, they'd all be supporting him. They would vote for him if he were nominated by a Democrat, but he's nominated by Trump. So they choose to take the side of obese kids, of diabetes and heart disease and red dye. That's their position. Because you're nominated by Trump, I want to continue the status quo. I want to continue to have 74% of Americans obese or overweight. It's wild to watch, and it's so revealing. And so was these other two hearings. I have to say, Kash Patel, I've watched a lot of hearings. I don't think I've ever seen a guy perform as well as Kash Patel. He was spectacular. You know why? Because he's really smart, and he's really prepared, and he knows the material like no one I've ever seen. And he's dealing with people who don't know the material. He's dealing with lazy, these frauds that just stick to their little talking points, who go back to the same thing. January 6th, over and over again. January 6th. Are we ever going to move past January 6th? And the idea that Kash Patel is not 100% qualified is just insane. The guy has an incredible record. Public defender for 8 years, trial attorney at the Justice Department, senior aide to the House Intelligence Committee, senior director of counterterrorism for the NCS, Ukraine policy specialist. He's got an incredible record. He's 100% qualified, smart as hell, and determined to reform the corrupt FBI. And again, the people who are grilling RFK are defending, fat kids and diabetes and red dye. The people attacking Kash Patel are defending an agency that has been corrupted to the core, that has attempted to rig the last 3 elections, that worked with social media companies to censor American citizens, who raided Mar-a-Lago. I mean, they've been an arm of the Democrat Party, whether the Democrats were in power or not. The FBI was fighting daily in service to the Democrat Party. It's completely corrupt. It's Andrew McCabe. It's Peter Strzok. That's the FBI. And he wants to change all that, upend all that. Hell, he already is. It's not even confirmed yet. And a lot of these hacks are already bailing, as well they should. And these people are so afraid of him. He actually has to sit there and take questions from Adam Schiff, the biggest liar in D.C., a guy who spent 3 years lying daily about the Russia hoax, saying he has evidence. It was all a lie. That's what he does. He lies. And he And he was in a position to grill this man who is just a fighter, who's just a brilliant guy and a guy determined to clean up this corrupt agency. It's a great choice. He must be confirmed. I hope he's confirmed. And I look forward so much to the day he gets in there, because he knows, man. He knows everything about the Russia hoax. He knows everything about January 6th, and they fear him like no one else. Here he is with Schiff, who again, January 6th, over and over and over again. And Patel was taking none of it. He didn't back down an inch. I loved it. A couple of times he said, have at it. He just told these Democrats who were going to attack him, just have at it. Go nuts. He fears not. He doesn't fear anything. He's ready to go now. Can't wait. Here he is with Shifty Schiff.
I want you to turn around. There are Capitol Police officers behind you. They're guarding us. Take a look at them right now. Turn around.
I'm looking at you. You're talking to me.
No, look at them. I want you to look at them if you can, if you have the courage to look them in the eye, Mr. Patel, and tell them you're proud of what you did. Tell them you're proud that you raised money off of people that assaulted their colleagues, that pepper sprayed them, that beat them with poles. Tell them you're proud of what you did, Mr. Patel. They're right there. They're guarding you today. Tell them how proud you are.
That's an abject lie, and you know it. I've never, ever accepted violence against law enforcement. I've worked with these men and women, as you know,
you
glorified
it in song,
and I did
Mr.
not
Patel.
make a single dime out of it.
In song. Well, let me.
How about you ask them if I have their backs, and let's see about that answer.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Patel. Let me ask you this. If an FBI director promoted a song of people who sprayed pepper spray in the face of an FBI agent, would you say they were fit to be director?
Mr. Schiff?
Yes or no? Would they be fit to be director?
I am fit to be the director of the FBI.
If you were the FBI director and you promoted a song with someone who beat an FBI agent with a pole, would you say you were fit to be FBI director?
Mr. Schiff, I am fit to be FBI director based on my 16 years in government service.
And yet you did all these things, Mr. Patel. You can say, oh, I support law enforcement. I decry violence against law enforcement. You can say all that. It's what you did, Mr. Patel, that matters. It's what you did that matters. Well, let me ask you about something else.
You know what? He has to be confirmed just on this alone. The cops support him. Every police agency supports him. I love the fact that he wouldn't play along. Go look at them. Again, 1,600 people were pardoned. About 150 were violent. I wish he said that. You know, I support the 1,400 people who were imprisoned for walking casually, harmlessly through the Capitol.
Well, Schiff's talking to him like a guy that has, pardon protection himself.
That's true. He said only one of us, he should say only one of us needed a preemptive pardon because we have lied repeatedly and destroyed evidence. That's not me, Mr. Schiff. I just want Patel to get confirmed and have him give 2 middle fingers and then open an investigation of Schiff. He was so good. Here's another reason they're afraid of him. He knows everything about January 6th. He knows that Trump offered the National Guard, and he knows it was turned down. He knows it was a setup, and he's just the guy to investigate it. That is coming if he gets confirmed. Here he is with Ted Cruz. Here's why people like Schiff are so nervous. Go ahead.
What were you doing on that day?
On that day specifically, responding to preparing to mobilize and deploy the National Guard once we got the lawful request from the local governing authority, which was the mayor of DC and the Speaker of the House.
Now, how many days in advance were you working to prepare the Department of Defense to help secure the Capitol on January 6th?
Days in advance, Senator. We were in the Oval Office on an unrelated national security matter with the President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and myself. And the president authorized up to 20,000 plus National Guardsmen and women to secure any security measures necessary related to the Capitol. So we were moving to the fullest extent of the law before the requisite request came from a local governing authority days ahead of time.
And while you were chief of staff at DOD, how many times did DOD approach Capitol Police and ask if they needed National Guard assistance?
I believe those letters are well documented, numerous instances, and numerous of those instances, those requests were shut down.
Now, am I correct that the Capitol Sergeant at Arms said assistance was unnecessary?
That's correct, Senator.
Who did the Sergeant at Arms report to?
The Speaker of the House.
That would have been Nancy Pelosi at the time. Is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
And would that also be Chuck Schumer, then the Senate Majority Leader?
The Sergeant at Arms, yes, Senator, reports up there.
Did Mayor Bowser, the Democrat elected mayor in D.C., either request or allow National Guard assistance?
She put in writing on the days leading up to January 6th, a declination for National Guard additional support. And that letter is available publicly to the world.
So, and just to speak English for folks at home, a declination meant she said, no, don't send National Guard. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a simple question, because from the questioning from my Democrat colleagues, they might think otherwise. Do you condemn violence against law enforcement?
All of it.
They're nervous. They're nervous. Nancy Pelosi turned down the National Guard. The Mayor Bowser turned it down. Trump offered it. They said no. He is going to look into this, and we're going to have a whole new view of January 6th if Kash Patel is confirmed. But, you know, I don't think Democrats want a person of color in this administration. They did their best yesterday to stop 2 people of color. That's what they did. Those are the rules. It's racist. They're racist. If these were Republicans grilling, you know, people, hardworking people of color who worked their way up from nothing, I'm pretty sure you'd hear on CNN and MSNBC that they are racist. But it wasn't just Kash Patel. Tulsi Gabbard went before a Senate committee and got grilled. Like, man, she scares them too. She really does. Trump's nominee for the Director of National Intelligence is in the military as we speak. She's a lieutenant colonel. Again, someone who worked her way up, daughter of Hindu parents, just like Kash Patel. And they were fixated on Edward Snowden because she once called him brave. And apparently that's disqualifying for some people. But she is determined to upend the intelligence community and expose the lies. She talked about it yesterday, and it was amazing. She talked about the lies that led us to the Iraq War. When do you ever hear that from any DC insider, any bureaucrat, anyone in the intelligence community? And she went through the scandals and the mistakes they've made in the intelligence community, and you could feel the chill in the air because she, again, just like Patel, just like RFK, is a disruptor, and they hate her for it. And that is why she's sitting there. Let's listen to some of Lieutenant Colonel Gabbard yesterday.
Before I close, I want to warn the American people who are watching at home. You may hear lies and smears in this hearing that'll challenge my loyalty to and my love for our country. Those who oppose my nomination imply that I am loyal to something or someone other than God, my own conscience, and the Constitution of the United States, accusing me of being Trump's puppet, Putin's puppet, Assad's puppet, a guru's puppet, Modi's puppet, not recognizing the absurdity of simultaneously being the puppet of 5 different puppet masters. The same tactic was used against President Trump and failed. The American people elected President Trump with a decisive victory and mandate for change. The fact is, what truly unsettles my political opponents is I refuse to be their puppet.
Absolute rocket, this lady.
Oh, man. Consider how amazing, how historic this moment is. She was a Democrat. She was a liberal Democrat. She was a Bernie bro. She ran for president and destroyed Kamala Harris in 2019. She flipped to the Republican Party, but she was a lifelong Democrat, just like RFK, who's still a Democrat. These are now Trump's nominees, and the Democrats are fighting to stop them. Even better, Tulsi Gabbard was targeted by the Harris campaign by the Biden-Harris administration. When she came out against Kamala, the next day she was put on the terror watch list. She was subjected to extreme screening at the airport when she traveled. Kash Patel was targeted by the administration, by the FBI. Now he's the nominee for FBI director. This is just an amazing time in America. Former Democrats, former lifelong Democrats are now Republican nominees, and the Democrats are scared to death. And I also think they just don't like a woman of color in that position of power. It was incredible to watch Sheldon White's only, the senator from Rhode Island, grilling Kash Patel. He wants to keep another man of color out of the club. That is Sheldon Whitehouse's goal right now, and hopefully he fails. All right, we got some more to get to. We got to get to Trump's another one of Trump's plans that seems crazy off the bat. Like initially you go, oh, that's pretty wild. And then you think about it and you say, what a great idea. Let's use Gitmo for illegal aliens. I love this idea. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
So how are the New Year's resolutions coming? We all make them, Some of us stick with them. Some of us don't. You want to lose weight, get in shape, get your finances in order. I promise to read more books. I'm trying. Each new year is an opportunity to reflect and plan for the future, like setting career goals, making financial moves, and most importantly, ensuring your family is always taken care of no matter what happens. Make this the year you check the life insurance box off your list and protect your family's future with Policy Genius. Policy Genius makes finding and buying life insurance simple, so you can ensure your loved ones have a financial safety net to cover debts and routine expenses, or even to invest the money to earn interest over time. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid unnecessary medical exams. Do you know 40% of people wish they got life insurance at a younger age? Compare quotes from America's top insurers side by side for free with no hidden fees. The licensed support team helps you get what you need fast so you can get on with your life. They answer questions, handle paperwork, and advocate for you throughout the process. Life insurance is a form of financial planning. Secure your family's future tomorrow so you have peace of mind today. Head to policygenius.com to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. We don't have time for the real highlight of these hearings. I recommend everybody go watch Rand Paul. He used his time to make a speech, to call out all these people saying RFK is anti-vaxxer because he wants to do more research, because he doesn't want vaccines to be this special category where we don't put it through rigorous protocols and try to make sure they're safe and effective. That these people who become fixated on vaccines and anti-vaxxers, he's a doctor, he's an ophthalmologist, and he just gives a brilliant 5-minute speech that it was so eye-opening. People don't, Liz Warren doesn't care. Bernie, Wyden, they don't care whether they are just so fixated on vaccines that you're not allowed to ask questions, which is what RFK does, asks uncomfortable questions. But it's, again, it's 5 minutes long, but it is so good. I want to get to this idea as Tom Homan continues his work, God's work, rounding up dangerous illegal aliens. And I think we now know who's going to be the first Democrat elected official to get arrested. It's unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be Mayor Wu in Boston. I think it's going to be Jacob Fry in Minnesota, who told illegal aliens he loves them and he will protect them. He's just a clown. He's like a theater kid, and he is, I think, determined to get handcuffed in defense of criminal illegal aliens. So good luck to Jacob Fry. I'm hoping to see that over the weekend, hoping to see him frog marched into a paddy wagon. But you're wondering, I was wondering this. If you have an illegal alien, just a killer, a rapist, a drug dealer, a gangbanger, and the country from which they came doesn't want to take them back because they don't want them. Or we'll take them back and set them free. We'll take them back and just let them, make their way back to this country. What are you going to do with the worst of the worst? What if it's some lawless country that's got no agreement with us and is going to put them in jail where they belong? What do? Do you send them back and then just wait for them to come back to the U.S.? No, Trump has an idea. We got lots of room at Gitmo. Biden has done his best to empty it out, send terrorists free. What do you do with Gitmo? Trump says, perfect. Let's put them there. It makes all the sense in the world. If we got the facility, I would have preferred Greenland or somewhere, really uncomfortable, but he says, we got the beds, we got the room, let's put them in Gitmo. Great idea. Here's Trump.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back. So we're going to send them out to Guantanamo.
And Don Jr. immediately said, what about Alcatraz? That worked too. It's even easier. Dump them on Alcatraz. Why not? Well, the goal is to get them out of our community, get them out of our neighborhoods, get them off welfare, get them out of hotel rooms paid for by the taxpayers. Perfect. We got the place, we got the room, we got the beds. Immediately, someone in the press was saying, you don't have 30,000 beds. Well, who cares? What if you have 10,000? What if you have 5,000? You're sending the worst of the worst that you can't risk sending home. You're putting them there. You know what else that does? That sends a message to everyone around the world. You may end up in Gitmo if you come across our border again. All these actions, everything to do, all these ICE raids are deterrents. Already, the numbers coming across the border have shrunk exponentially, and they're going to continue to shrink because the sign is out. No longer welcome here. That was the first goal, deterrence. Convince these foreign invaders that they're no longer going to come here and get, a free hotel, money, phones, everything. Or you may end up in prison. In America, you may end up in Gitmo. So great move. Another one of those things I never thought of that Trump thought of. Great move. And he's just flooding the zone. The media doesn't know where to turn today to attack Trump. They're fixated on the DEI thing, but you know what? I think we're going to find out Trump was right. Once again, Trump was right. All right, that will do it for today. Ironhead's very excited about the RFK choice because he uses the same kind of nicotine pouch as us. Hey, whatever it takes. Ironhead supporting the nominee for HHS because he popped an Alp. There it is.
I thought I saw him sneaking something in yesterday.
He popped an Alp during the hearing. That's Tucker Carlson's company, by the way, because Tucker decided Zinn was run by Kamala supporters, and he started his own company. And I'm guessing he gives RFK a good deal on his Alp.
I'm thankful for Zins because it got me off cigarettes.
Make America healthy again. Pop an Alp. Pop a Zin.
American lip pillow.
Hey, we all need our vice. America's lip pillow right there. Alp. But all right, that will do it for today and for this week. Don't forget to subscribe. Please go to Apple, go to Spotify, give us a follow. We appreciate it. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and we'll do it again Monday morning.
That's a general statement and a mischaracterization of what I said. I encourage you to read the rest of the interview. This is why snippets of information are often misleading and detrimental to this committee's advice and consent process.
If you consent, I would love to have 5 hours of questions, and then I could read the whole transcript.
You've got 2 minutes.